Hi, welcome to Physio Yoga for Adventure Sports. So today the focus will be on cyclists, and in particular the middle part of the back and the front of the chest. So in cycling, as we know, the mid part of the back can get really stiff, the shoulders tend to curl inwards, and we get this kind of scrunched up position, and probably with a bit of a lifting of the chin here. The aim of this session is to kind of counteract those postures a little bit as part of injury prevention. Okay, so coming to a standing position. I've got a mat here, but you don't have to have a mat. You can do this on the ground anywhere by the side of the trail. So rooting down through the feet, perhaps lifting up the toes so you can root down through the balls and the heels. This then activates the whole of the legs, drawing the navel towards the spine, getting that sensation of lifting up a little bit, rolling the shoulders back and down. We've got a hook on the top of your head, pulling you tall, and then gently tucking in with the chin. This is a great tuck to do while you're cycling. So instead of adopting this position, you adopt this position, healthier for the back of the neck. Okay, so breathing in as we stretch up. Breathing out as we bring chin to chest and we roll down, bringing the hands towards the ground. The knees can be bent. Breathing in as we stretch up. Breathing out, stepping back with the left foot, stretching away through that heel, trying to straighten that back leg. The knee can also be down at this point, allowing the groin to press downwards. Then with an in-breath, raising up through the hands, stretching through the fingertips as if you're trying to touch the ceiling. And breathing out, hands back down. And we've got two more. So breathing in and out. Last one, breathing in and out as we plant the hands at the front of the mat and stepping back into a plank pose. So in our plank, we've got our heels, buttocks and shoulders all in one line. The knees can be up or down. We're drawing the navel in towards the spine. Now as we bend the elbows, keeping them close to the body, slowly lowering down towards the ground. And then as we reach the ground, uncurling the feet and coming up onto the forearms into our Sphinx pose. So allowing the lowest ribs to be in contact with the mat here, perhaps moving the arms away a little bit so those lower ribs really can touch, the belly can relax into the mat, and squeezing the shoulder blades towards each other. The leg muscles are relaxed. All that's working here really is the arms to stabilise you, and that squeezing of the shoulders. And taking a few breaths here. Allowing the belly to melt down into the mat. And then tucking the toes under, pressing the hands into the mat as we come all the way up to a 4-point kneeling and then up into downward facing dog. So in our downward facing dog, we've got our hands planting into the mat, we've got the heels grounding towards the mat, lifting up through the seating bones as if you're pressing them back to the far corner of the room. So stretching with the right leg towards the left elbow, stretching away towards the right elbow, stretching away again, back to that left elbow if possible, stretching all the way through, back to the top, then this time bending the knee, stepping forwards to the front of the mat. So we're still on in the lunge with the right leg forwards, both hands are coming to the inside of that front foot. Make sure you're grounded here, really pressing through that back heel, down through the groin. Breathing in as you stretch up with the left hand. And out, back down. And we've got two more of these. So breathing in, stretching up. And out, back down. And in. And out. Bring your hands to either side of the leg and stepping to the front of the mat. Hanging out here for a moment, let the knees be soft, let the head hang heavy. before slowly rolling all the way back up, as if you're stacking vertebra on vertebra. Raising the arms above the head, and then bringing the hands to heart centre. Take a few breaths here before we go on to the other side. And then breathing in as we stretch up. Breathing out as we bring chin to the chest, rolling all the way down. Knees can be bent or straight. Let the head hang heavy. And then planting the hands into the mat, stepping back with the right leg into a high lunge. Again, stretching away through that back heel, pressing down with the groins towards the ground. Then as we breathe in, stretching up through the hands. You can make a V with the arms, they can be together, whichever gives you a bit more freeing sensation in the mid-back. And out, back down. 2 more times. And out. Last one, breathing in, stretching up, really growing tall here. And out, hands back to the front of the mat, stepping back into plank. And again, knees can be up or they can be down. Pressing your way through the heels and then bending the elbows as we low down, we slowly lower down. Uncurling the toes. And then now we're going to do a loco sequence, which strengthens up the back of the body and also broadens through the front of the body. So interlacing the fingers behind the back, squeezing the shoulder blades towards each other and trying to draw the knuckles towards the heels. Breathing here for a couple of breaths. And lowering down, undoing the hands and bringing the arms parallel to the ground, stretching your back towards the heels with the fingertips, allow the torso to raise up and then allow the feet to lift up off the ground if that's possible. And again, holding here, really imagining that someone's pulling through your feet, getting extension here. Someone's pulling through your fingertips, helping you grow. And then lowering back down. You can repeat that same one, or you may want to have a go at stretching the arms above the head, allowing the arms to rise up and allowing the feet to rise up, stretching again. Someone's pulling through your hands, someone's pulling through your feet. And lowering back down. Then pressing through the hands, tucking the toes under into 4-point kneeling before going back to our downward facing dog. So in our down dog this time, stretching up with the left leg towards the ceiling, bend the knee and bringing that foot to the front of the mat. So we're in that same high lunge. And this time we'll be twisting. So both hands on the inside of that front leg. Breathing in as we stretch up with that right hand. And out, back down. 2 more times. Breathing in, stretching up. And out, back down. Keep pressing your way through that back heel. Knee can be down or up. Last one, breathing in. And back down. And then let's step back to downward facing dog. And then dropping down into 4-point kneeling. So in our 4-point kneeling, knees are below the hips, hands are below the shoulders. If you've got long arms, just moving the hands a little further forward, okay, so you feel stable. We're going to do a spinal wave or cat-cow. So starting with the tailbone, drawing that down, arching up the middle of the back, and then letting the top of the back and the head roll down. Then reversing that, tailbone is lifting up towards the ceiling, belly drops down towards the ground, chest lifts and head lifts. And so when you breathe out, leading with the tailbone, curling that down, arching up through the back, letting the head hang heavy. Then breathing in, tailbone up, belly down, opening the torso and lifting up with the head. And continuing on your own breath for a couple more rounds. This really helps to mobilise through the spine, helps to relax down those paraspinal muscles which seem to hang on for dear life in some cyclists. Just one more cat, one more cow. And then coming to a neutral position, so somewhere between the cow and the cat, drawing the navel towards the spine, stretching away with the left hand. If you feel like you can maintain your balance, also stretch away with the right foot. The toe can be on the ground. Perhaps lift up that foot if that feels okay. We're aiming to keep this area, this sacrum, to be flat, as if you could balance a drink on this area. So no tipping up or down. If you find that you're tipping, just keeping those toes on the ground. Holding here for a moment. And then we're going to bring the elbow towards the knee, underneath the belly button. So this joint is going to fall off at this point, and that's fine. So if you want to breathe in time with this, breathing in as we stretch away, breathing out as we bring elbow to knee. Breathing in, then elbow to knee. Let's do one more. And to the other side. So getting on neutral spine, stretching away with the left hand, and then the right leg. And this side might be different, so try first toes on the ground. If that feels okay, lift them up. Got this flat area here, stretching through. And then we're bringing elbow towards the knee, underneath the belly button, so curling in like we did on our cat. So it's a breath in as we stretch, breath out as we bring elbow to knee. And out. Then we've got one more. Bringing the hands back down, the knees back down. Bring the knees wide, big toes together, sitting back on the heels, resting the forehead on your hands stacked on each other. Or perhaps stretching the hands out, forehead to the mat. Taking really big deep breaths here, really filling up the back of your chest, or it feels that way. Then coming back to 4-point kneeling. And this time stretching up towards the ceiling with the left hand and threading that hand underneath the body. Keep going till the outer edge of this arm comes towards the ground. Trying to keep the hips over the knees still here. Maybe the side of your face will come onto the ground as well. And coming back up, stretching all the way up and hand back down. We'll come to the other side. So stretching with that right hand looking up. Threading that hand underneath the body, coming to the outer edge of that arm, face on the mat if that's possible, and then coming back up again, and back into our 4-point kneeling. In our 4-point kneeling, you might want to do a little bit of crazy cat, which is closing your eyes and moving in any way which feels nice. So this may be rocking from side to side, maybe stretching down into child's pose, coming forwards, just learning to tune into your body and see what it needs at this moment. And then coming up into downward facing dog. Grounding down through the left foot, so it's out at about 45 degrees, stepping through with the right, so it's like a high lunge, but with that outer foot grounding down, spiralling up the arms. And we look here, seeing that the heel, if we drew a line from there, it would come to the inner arch of this back foot. The back foot's grounding down through that outer edge in particular. And then we're bringing the right forearm to the leg here, palms facing up, other hand on the hips. And then we're getting where the breastbone is here and spiralling up towards the ceiling. You can be looking down, looking straight ahead, or looking up. Even weight between both feet, keep spiralling up, so we're opening up this shoulder here. Sinking a little bit deeper if we can. Even weight between both feet, trying not to grip, perhaps lifting up the toes, checking you're not gripping. The other thing to watch is this knee, it will want to come in like this. So just make sure you keep bringing that knee so it's in line with your middle toe. You can use your forearm to do this a little bit. If you want an extra stretch here, you can lift up your arms, stretching up towards the ceiling, maybe going up over your head, but making sure you still having this opening sensation. Spiraling back up. Let's go to the other side. So turning in the other foot, other one away, bending through that front leg, arm to the thigh, hands on the hip, opening up through the shoulder, grounding down evenly through both feet, sinking a little bit deeper if you can by bending that front knee. Don't make the front knee bend so much those toes go out of sight. You always want to have some sight on the toes. Even grounding. And choose to lift up your arm. Keep opening here. Maybe bring the arm overhead. And spiraling back up again. Bringing the feet wide. Bringing the toes just slightly turned in. Hands to the hips as we hinge forwards, keeping the back straight. And then let the head hang heavy. You may want to interlace your arms here. Gently rocking from side to side. Perhaps nodding yes and no with the head. Then bringing the hands to the ground. Bring the knees together. And let's sit on the mat. So this next posture is a twist. So bringing both legs out in front. Let's cross the right leg over the left. Both seating bones pressing into the ground. Then reaching behind you. I'll show you here. Reaching behind you with the hand. And bringing the other one to the front of the leg. So we can use this arm to help to twist around here. If you want to deepen the practice, you can bend this left leg so it comes to the outer edge of the hips. However, make sure both your seating bones are really grounding down. Big breath in, so as you breathe in, getting that sense of elongation through the spine. As you breathe out, twisting a little bit further. Legs a little bit of a shake, then coming to lie on the mat. So a little bit of core work here, knees are bent, feet on the ground, arms parallel with the floor. Now we're going to tilt the pelvis backwards so the lowest part of the back comes in contact with the mat. Then imagining you've got press studs the whole way up, the belly's drawn in, you're looking towards your belly button. As you roll slowly down towards the mat, keep drawing in that navel as if you're doing up a tight belt. Keep rolling down with control. And then relaxing down. Okay, so bringing the heels in towards the buttocks. The heels probably will just about touch the fingertips here. So on the mat, pressing the lower back into the mat. As you do, you'll find that your tailbone starts to lift up a little bit. Keep going with that lifting, so squeezing the buttocks as you lift up through the pelvis. And it's almost as if you're lifting one vertebra at a time up from the mat until you get to the top here. And then holding for a little bit, trying to press the knees forward and away, not letting them kind of sag out to the sides, not letting either side of the pelvis dip down, which is trickier than you first think. Keep pressing evenly up. If you get cramp in your hamstrings, just take a rest and then come back into the posture. And then for the way back down, one vertebra at a time, we're going to lower back down, so starting with the top part of the back, lowering slowly down. This gives a really nice massage for the back. All the way down. And then just relax there for a moment. Feel the lower part of the back just slightly lift up off the mat. Before starting the second round, so again pressing the lower back into the mat, allowing that tailbone to lift and slowly lifting up. So as we lift up, try not to allow the knees to waggle around. So the slower we do it, the harder it is to keep that coordination. So lifting all the way up. If you find that you're not wiggling anywhere, the legs aren't going out to the side, you're nice and strong here, perhaps you want to lift up one leg. Go towards touching the ceiling. The knee can be bent or straight. And then bring that leg down. And perhaps raise the other one. Just noticing any wiggles. My right leg's definitely weaker than my left. And then start to lower down, one vertebrae at a time. And then draw the knees in to the chest. Give yourself a hug, perhaps rocking left and right, backwards and forwards. And then if you like, you can bring the knees wide, bring the feet towards the ceiling, flexing the toes towards you, reaching up the inner edges of your legs, holding on to the arch here on the foot, and bringing the knees towards your armpits. If you can, try to keep the sacrum, the lowest part of your back, in contact with the mat. If this is impossible and it feels okay to lift it slightly, that's also fine. And then gently rocking side to side in our happy baby pose. And then releasing down, stretching the legs out away from you. Allow the feet to loll out to the side. Hands by the body, palms facing up, fingers gently curled up. And closing your eyes, just for a few breaths. As we rest in Shavasana, or corpse pose, trying to be as still as possible. And just noticing as the breath rolls in to the nostrils and it rolls out. Not trying to change anything, just observing. And then taking a really deep breath, filling the whole of the belly with air. And as you breathe out, let it out with a sigh through the mouth. Let's do one more of those. Breathing in. And then very gently making your way back up to a seated position. You can be kneeling, crossed legs, legs out in front, whatever's comfortable. Bring the hands to heart centre. I'd like to thank you for joining me in practice today. Namaste.